I want to take a teeny weeny little peek at this. Is New York City cooked? And it's a photo of Mamdani with a commie flag behind him.
The new future of the Democratic Party. Uh-oh.
It's a Fox News video.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
All right, well, Republicans fight for capitalism. A socialist is now the face of the Democratic Party. They just nominated.
God, I wish, dude. I wish the Democrats were even a fraction of the level of coolness as Republicans claim that they are, dude.
This guy in New York City on the Democratic side of the aisle.
Do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism. Call myself a democratic socialist. We put forward a plan to start Trump-proofing our city, increasing the top corporate tax rate and increasing income tax.
Ready, goose.
Aye, and that's the best it gets.
In my opinion, if somebody doesn't like capitalism, they should go somewhere else. Like, I
We've made it 37 seconds. First of all, what about all the people whose lives have been destroyed by capitalism that don't have the ability to go anywhere else? Second, where? Every single country has capitalism, whether you want it to be there or not. Every single country.
I think that
This is as the commentary that like your country doesn't have enough socialism in it, so you want to fix it by adding more socialism, which is obviously an oversimplification. And the solution is just to move. It's the same as the sell your house to who? Fucking Aquaman? Ah, yes, because it is so easy when you're in poverty, when you are in the bottom rung of society, to just pack your bags and move to another country and what? Get citizenship? Question mark? Question mark? Just fly over and then stay there? Question mark?
if you don't like capitalism and you want to replace it, you don't want to have capitalism, just go to a country that doesn't have capitalism.
I want to see the examples that he lists as countries that don't have capitalism.
Yeah, get out. Go somewhere else.
Meet Zohran Mamdani.
I don't know why I thought he was going to list an example. My apologies. I've been bested by the mold. I don't know why I thought that. Just go somewhere else. Just go somewhere else. Yeah, obviously. Sorry, my bad.
He's campaigning on fundamentally transforming New York into his social paradise.
It is the time for our city to be reborn, a new city with a new politics, where the worker...
I actually think that, so the issue is that, and this is the problem.
I actually think that the issue is that, so the issue, okay, so the problem, me trying to find anything wrong with Mamdani.
Problem with somebody like this is that they have a lot of these like extreme retard opinions, but they also have like real...
It's so funny being Asmongold and criticizing Mamdani for having R-word opinions. Oh my God.
Really down-to-earth, reasonable opinions too. And I think that the first time that the Democratic Party is able to run a candidate like this, that doesn't have all of the weird baggage that this guy has, they're going to have that person win the presidency. But the problem is that every time one of these people emerges, they...
Talking about someone winning the presidency, if they only if they don't have baggage, meanwhile, Trump literally has 34 felonies, is hilarious.
They turn out to be some radical ideologue.
I'm sorry, Chomsky Panda.
That has a bunch of reductive ideals. They can't anymore? Yeah, exactly, right? And that's the big issue that they have, is that, like, this guy, I think he's got great charisma. He's a great speaker. I think he resonates with a lot of the younger people there. A lot of people like him there. Why is it that they can't recreate somebody like this that doesn't have all of this baggage?
What baggage?
Don't understand that. He knows how to speak. Yeah,
and also there are a lot of Democrats that are exactly like Mamdani, but they don't have any actual positions that help the working class people. They just have must give more money to billionaires, must give more money to billionaires, but I'll be a good public speaker. And guess what? They don't win.
He's a great speaker for sure.
Comes first.
And what is his signature economic policy? Government-run grocery stores.
Based.
I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. We will redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores.
Ay, ay, ay. Where have we seen this before? I don't know.
I like how these people are all about, like, no government handouts, free market. You shouldn't have to rely on the generosity of the state. And when a candidate says, okay, well, we're going to take away all the money we've been giving to corporations and corporate grocery stores and just redirect that money to make our own grocery stores. It's like, this is literally communism, and this is literally socialism, and this is everything that's wrong with America, and we are going to have breadlines. It's like, you guys are the ones that are saying that capitalism trumps everything else. So why can't the grocery stores just do it on their own with the free market? Huh?
Have a look.
Soviet Russia?
The state food stores are called the gastronome shops. You locate what you want, you stand in line to learn if it's available, then you queue up in another line and buy that particular food ticket. Then you line up again and you acquire the desired food.
As opposed to what? Going to a grocery store today so you can pay $500 for like 2 bananas and then wait in line for 30 minutes to do so? Is this a fundamentally different experience? Also, I love the idea of like pulling up the 1950s propaganda. It's so good. Mwah.
Unless what you've selected has been sold out in the meantime.
Yeah, let's run it like we run the DMV, folks. That's the way to do it. That's what's going to get New York City back on track. Mom Donnie's.
And it wouldn't be comparable to the DMV. Publicly run grocery stores would be comparable to USPS, which has deflated mailing prices across the board, which is the only reason that people who are most likely to vote for Trump, who live in fucking bumfuck Idaho, are able to get their mail at an affordable rate. It's because of USPS. That's the only reason. And like, yeah, I've had mediocre USPS experiences, but the benefits vastly outweigh the negatives. And the reality is, you don't even have to go to USPS to enjoy the fact that USPS has deflated mailing prices across the board. Because when you mail things out with FedEx or with UPS, there's a good chance that after a certain point of time, after a certain like amount of time on the road, once you have to get to, again, like bumfuck nowhere, USPS picks up the mail. And they're the ones who deliver it. The only reason that FedEx and UPS aren't obscenely expensive is because a government-run, government-funded mailing program exists, or post office exists. That's the only reason. Also, UPS and FedEx aren't necessarily even that remarkable, still shitty. DHL is super annoying too. Don't even get me started on DHL.
Wouldn't you agree, though, how late-stage capitalism is ruining everything? It's the direct cause of enshittification. It's just something you've made multiple videos of, dog. It's fair to have
Enshittification.
critiques of capitalism, and you for sure. No, not really. I mean, capitalism is the best system in the world, and
I mean, the best, not counterexample, but argument against this idea is you have a lack of imagination. Because guess what? This is what people said about feudal society as well. Well, this is the best society we've had so far. Would you prefer if we were slaves? At least here, you know, we're laborers that give all of our grain to the king, but we're not slaves. I'm sorry that you don't have the ability to imagine a better world and that you are limited by your lack of imagination.
every country that doesn't use it is a piece of shit. And that's his.
Yeah, and half the countries that do use it are pieces of shit. Point in case, America.
Historically been proven.
Also, like, what countries is he talking about? Venezuela. I'm assuming Venezuela and Cuba. I don't know what other examples he would even possibly list, because you can't list China. You can't say China is a piece of shit country. You just, in 2025, you look like an idiot to say that China is a shithole communist country. It's just pathetic. We all saw the speed videos. So what, like Venezuela and Cuba? Cuba has one of the best healthcare systems on the planet. They are able to manufacture vaccines at a way better rate than we are. Like, and a primary reason why their country has been so brutalized economically has been because of sanctions. So like, yeah, we'll pick the country that we've sanctioned to fuck that still has managed to have its #1 export, unlike America, be doctors. Meanwhile, we just export hogs.
100% accuracy. I think that a lot of people don't want unregulated capitalism, and they don't want crony capitalism. But that doesn't mean that at a core, that's not clearly the best decision.
Radical policies are sending New Yorkers into a panic. The Wall Street Journal reports that some developers and landlords are making...
And also, and here's another component that a lot of people might not realize, is that a lot of the most negative effects of late-stage capitalism are actually outcomes through regulation that's created and lobbied for by these companies that ensure some sort of monopoly or market control. So most
I have to go back.
Effects of late-stage capitalism are actually outcomes through regulation that's created and lobbied for by these companies that ensure some sort of monopoly or market control.
Okay, so it should be the lack of regulation, and also that's just capitalism. Capitalism will always lend itself to turning into a bunch of monopolies. That's just, and that's essential to capitalism. When you put profit above everything else, what other outcomes are there except to buy out all of your competition and then charge exorbitant prices? That's just, did we not play the same board game as kids? Did he never play Monopoly? Like, did we not all experience this?
So most examples and like manifestations of, you know, what people would say, quote, is late stage capitalism is actually just late stage corruption. And so you have companies that effectively pull the ladder up on competition. They create regulations so other people can't enter the market.
Why wouldn't they? No, but like, really, why wouldn't they? That's what the system tells you to do. The system tells you money above everything else. Profit incentives will fix everything. Your goal should be seeking profit. That will always lend itself to creating monopolies. Always. And the only reason that we haven't had more monopolies has been because of antitrust laws, which are rapidly being removed, regulations, which are being rapidly removed, and economies of scale, which that's still without regulation. You would have like 10 different internet service providers, 10 different fucking water companies, and they would all be obscenely expensive.
They have unfair consumer practices. And so the real...
Sorry, you would have a bunch of different services, and then eventually they would collapse into one because one would start performing better and then buy out the competition and so on and so forth. And then you would have water companies charging $1 billion for fucking one bucket of water. So again, more regulations.
The real core problem there isn't necessarily capitalism. It's the merging with government and business and them working hand in hand. That's really where the issues are. It's corporate.
And what's the proposed solution?
Corporatism? Yes, exactly. And that's like basically unregulated capitalism is a disaster. And
how do you plan to regulate it if your voice matters less than the millionaire and billionaire voices? How do you plan to effectively remove corruption if their capital will always matter more than your word?
And the first thing that happens with unregulated capitalism is the people with all the capital regulate it. Like, that's what happens instant.
Okay, and then what? How do you fix it then?
Instantaneously. And so you have to have regulations, and you have to have rules. Unregulated capitalism is the people with all the capital regulated. Like,
how does anyone watch this and go, "Yup, makes sense"? Listen, just listen to this. Listen to this.
Regulated capitalism is a disaster. And the first thing that happens with unregulated capitalism is the people with all the capital regulated. Like, that's what happens instantaneously. And so you have to have regulations, and you have to have rules. But at the same time, to say that this kind of stuff is problematic is just completely untrue.
This looks like shit. Let me just type with the text bubble. Just so we're all on the same page. Capital owners will always do the regulating.
You have to have regulations, and you have.
So you have to have regulation. The marbles are gone, people. The marbles are gone, people. If capital owners will be the ones doing the regulating, how can you ever have regulating for the capital owners? How can you regulate them?
Have to have rules. But at the same time, to say that this kind of stuff is problematic is just completely untrue.
But to say that this is problematic is completely untrue. It makes no sense what they're saying. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God.
The chatter's speaking as if there's a late-stage capitalism as proven successful in history.
Patrick Starr's not my wallet moment. Yeah.
Private interest always takes priority late game. Yeah, of course it does. If you compare USA and Sweden, both capitalist countries, one's a lot healthier, even with higher taxes. I'd much prefer to live in Sweden. I wouldn't. I hear it's a shithole. It's been infested by a bunch of people that are like violent migrants. Yeah.
Infested with violent migrants. Describing people as infestations. Where have I heard that before? Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh man, where have I heard that? There was a particular group of people that described other human beings as infestations. Was it the Potsies? No. Lotsies? No. It's like right
Sweden
there.
wouldn't take in his biohazardous ass anyway.
You're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh my God. No, it's cool, man. Yeah, you can just describe human beings as infestations. That's fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that or dehumanizing about that or anything. No. That's fine. Definitely, you've never seen that used in a bad way ever. That definitely won't lead to anything bad. It's also like so stupid too because this narrative has been debunked back in like 2016 Gamergate. There was even the most iconic version of this was Tim Pool investigating Sweden And then he goes to Sweden and he talks to the people there and he's like, so the violent immigrants, huh? They're really evil, huh? And then when he's talking to these people, they're like, I mean, no, it's fine. I mean, no, it's, I don't, no, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't really, it's not bothered me. It's cool. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find this specific one. Because this is such old propaganda that's been rehashed. But he knows that there's such a constant churn of like political viewers that he knows that he can like trick a bunch of new people into believing this nonsense. Here it is. I think it's this one. Is it this one? Why is it not working? Hold up.
Oh, they kind of wave it off like it's no big deal.
Ja. Det beror på lite hur man kollar på det.
Depends on how you see it, she says.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, interesting.
Wait. So this was one of Tim Pool's initial startups back in 2017 when he was trying to prove that white genocide was real and that the immigrants are ruining Sweden. And he says it's called Inside the No-Go Zone in Malmö, Sweden. And I think this one is the clip.
Well, thank you. So I guess, what I'm starting to notice is that it's kind of like a relativity issue. Sweden has experienced more murders than they have, or I should say Malmö has experienced a lot more murders in the past year. In the past 2 months, there were, I think, 4 murders.
Gone, people.
Why was that so delayed? Why was that so delayed? Contraman, thank you for the 20 gift subs. Let me see if I can fix that setting. I don't know why it's so delayed. Thank you so much. Thank you. Like 50 years later, yeah. Let me see if I can fix this.
But I guess when you don't have this crime, there's a lot of people who are not used to it, who are really scared by the news, hearing about an escalation in grenade attacks or gang activity, and they build this perception that everything is getting really, really bad when it's only a little bad.
Yeah. It's like having a healthy body and then your toe is starting to hurt and you run to the hospital. It feels like that, something like that.
Do you think that it's possible the crime, they've said that in the past year that, there have been more murders, right? Is it possible that crime...
Guys, can you link me the Vera video on Poland? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I don't remember his name. I just know everyone calls him Vera.
Could get worse? Do you think it's going to get better? I mean, you live here.
I don't know. I mean, if I would be afraid of that, I probably wouldn't live here. Somehow, having it's hard to, with few words, describe a daily life, but I go here back and forth to work and to school. So I get so much more impressions of a place like this than these occasional things that are probably revolving around.
Let's say this wall.
People that are from far out of my sphere. It happens in our same streets, in our same world, of course, and pretty close, which is scary. But they wouldn't do that to me. There is nothing like.
You think it's like gang on gang stuff, like criminal violence?
The last thing here I heard was some kind of jealousy thing, which is of course crazy. I don't know. It's lunacy, but no one would do that to a random person. That wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Well,
so to be clear, Tim Pool's asking this guy who lives in Sweden, who lives in the no-go zone, and says yeah, it's getting really dangerous, right? This is back in 2017, and he's like, if it was dangerous, I wouldn't really live here. He's like, I live here. I get way more instances of normal stuff happening than crazy violent actions happening. The last thing I heard was some guy was jealous, and there was something there. There was a crime. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really happen. This was one of the best interviews he could find, trying to talk to people who are living in the no-go zone and claiming that it's not livable and it's very dangerous because of the brown people. It's almost as bad as this one. This is the most recent iteration of this.
As a woman?
Yes. Yeah. The Tyler Oliveira video on Poland.
Do you feel safe in Rome as a woman? Or Italy? Sorry.
No, not at all.
Why?
It's dangerous.
Where are you from?
Who's this guy? Not the guy that he's with. What's his name? I'm blanking. The president of Poland. He's with the president of Poland while he's interviewing these two random women who are visiting Poland from Italy.
When you come to Rome, he's going for I visited. What do you feel like?
Because it's not safe.
Why is it not safe?
Because
The women are saying they don't think Italy is safe.
safe, like walking alone at night.
Who are you afraid of at night?
Men.
Which men? Men in general or specific types of men who come from different places?
Like men.
Italian men?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What do you think?
Can I ask you? Here's the thought.
Can we please order in the meanwhile?
Yes, David. Should you buy them one?
Thank you.
Should you buy them one?
Oh no, wait, sorry. This is Dominic. Who's this?
Hello, Denny's.
He's the It's been a while since I watched this video. Member of the European Parliamentary. Okay, got it. Parliament. My apologies, my apologies. Polish MEP. Yeah.
No. Okay, they don't need it. They don't need it. They can buy the.
Sorry, I wanted you guys to watch this interaction again.
No, we don't. KFC. No, we don't. We do proper.
We arrived yesterday, so
These Italian women saying they arrived in Poland
You too are afraid of a specific type of men. BET.
and they're from Italy.
Rome, Italy. Yeah.
Do you feel safer as a woman?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you feel safe in Rome as a woman or Italy? Sorry.
No, not at all.
Why?
It's dangerous.
Where are you from? When you come to Rome, he's going for I visited. What do you feel like?
Because it's not safe.
Why is it not safe?
Because we don't feel safe, like walking alone at night.
Who are you afraid of at night?
Men.
Which men? Men in general or specific types of men who come from different places?
Like men.
Italian men?
Any specific type of men? Any specific type of complexion of men? And she gives him a confused look and says, huh? Just men.
Yeah.
And then he says, so what, are you afraid of the Italian men? And she just goes, yeah.
Who come from different places?
Like men.
Italian men?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What do you think?
And then he just says no. No, it's not you're not afraid of the Italian men. You're lying.
Here's the thought.
Can we please order in the meanwhile?
Yes, David. Should you buy them one?
Thank you.
Should you buy them one? No.
You ever try to convince people that like it's all the evil brown men that are destroying your country, and meanwhile it's just like the men in your country that suck? Trying to shove words into their mouth is wild, yeah.
Not anymore. Maybe 20 years ago, sure, but not now.
Operations to flee the city, and real estate agents are preparing for an exodus. One agent told the New York Post, quote, "My #1 job will be moving people from New York to Florida again." But the New York Times calls him a new political star. And another far-left paper
He absolutely is. And I think that people there has to be a degree of soul searching in the political community. Why a person like this resonates so much with so many people. You can't just call this guy a radical communist and it's the same way, like you couldn't just call Donald Trump a racist and, oh, okay, well, everybody's just going to immediately say, oh, well, oh my God, he's a racist. Oh no, never mind. I can't have these viewpoints anymore. That's not what's going to happen. And so don't do that. Yeah, it didn't work with Donald Trump, and it's not going to work with Zohran either, right? I think
with Zohran.
Both of these people are people that represent a massive amount of people that have been disenfranchised by a system, and they look towards iconoclastic leaders like someone like Donald Trump or Mandami or anybody else like this.
Mandami.
They look at these people as destroyers of the system because they feel like the system has oppressed them. That's the reason why They're symptomatic of systematic
DNM,
issues.
hey,
Yes,
DNM,
exactly.
hey, DNM,
So
hey.
you really shouldn't like this guy isn't the problem. The problem is that people voted for him. And why did people vote for him? That's your problem. Don't blame him. Blame the voters.
It's encouraging Democratic establishment to follow his.
Honestly, I'm all for this. Right-wingers blaming voters. Yes. Yes. They can adopt the dog shit strategy. Yes. It'll work.
Example
The alternatives were terrible.
as a
Yeah, sure.
blueprint to future elections.
Mm-hmm.
I am delighted, and it's good to see that kind of energy come in.
The relentless focus on affordability had great appeal all across the city of New York.
This is about the message that the people of New York City are trying to send to our party.
That doesn't mean anything.
If Mamdani is the future of the Democrats, the party may be in for a rude awakening come November of 2026. Even the Washington Post editorial board is warning them to, quote, Democrats should fear that he will discredit their.
Never listen to the Washington Post as just some bullshit. Fucking news article, publication. Every one of these news companies is owned by a large special interest that has a vested interest in making people believe something. So every time that you hear somebody get discounted like this by mainstream media and by all of these different places, the reason why Jeff Bezos, yeah, there you go. And this is true with Fox, CNN.
So then shouldn't you be pro-Zohran? Fox News doesn't like him. The Washington Post doesn't like him. Establishment Dems don't like him. Shouldn't you then assume that he's actually trying to help people? Hello? What are we talking about?
Then MSNBC, NBC, all of this stuff, they're all the same. You should never look at something like this objectively, because it's not objective. There's a goal that these people have in mind.
Next generation of party leaders, almost all of whom are better than this Democratic socialist. Ouch. David, this guy's taking a really radical position out here.
Well, is there any real surprise? I mean, this guy is the Sadiq Khan of New York, and you saw what happened to London under him. This is a playbook that's been underway for a long time. The New York City Council, go back to the Christine Quinn days. I mean, I know we're kind of localizing it, but you got to understand that it's a weak mayor town with a strong leftist city council and, frankly, ineffective Republicans on the council. There's been no opposition to their march. In New York State, because it's not just about Mamdani, you talk about the Working Families Party, you talk about Letitia James, who was their candidate all
This guy does have big boba energy.
the way to the AG spot. You talk about Kathy Hochul, and now you give them New York City. This is a playbook that works. You look at the SEIU, Liuna 108.
The reason why it works is because he talks about housing. That's the reason why. He talks about issues that directly affect people, and people are willing to put the bullshit, weird views that he has behind them and vote for him anyway. It's the exact...
The bullshit, weird views are, in Asmongold's words, the socialism, communism, whatever garbage. That's the reason they're voting for him. They're voting for him because his proposed solution to housing is not more capitalism, it's less capitalism. They're voting for him over other people because he's actually participating in the democratic process of offering solutions to his constituents that are feasible.
reason why people voted for Donald Trump. They might have thought Donald Trump is a psychopath, racist, maybe even a rapist, but this person still also wants to do something that's in my best interest. So you view yourself as aligned with him and you vote for him anyway. I would argue that I think that the majority of people, if you ask them, do you think Donald Trump has ever committed a felony? Most people that voted for Trump would say yes. But does that really change the reason why they're voting for him? No, absolutely not. People would vote for a murderer if they thought that that murderer was going to give them a better life. So this entire premise that you have to attack people on their character and you have to look at this, you have to look at like, what is the value proposition that these people have? No, they wouldn't.
It's really funny when he says something reasonable and his chat gets mad at him, so he has to backtrack and pretend like he didn't say it.
Of course they would. Absolutely they would. I mean, we've had people that have like, what are you talking about? It's not even a question. Absolutely they would. How do you think like all elections went for like probably many? How do you think chiefs were chosen in villages? How do you think warlords were decided in ancient times? It's simple. It's simple. Every single time. Yeah, people comes first. Yeah, people's life comes first. They wouldn't admit it publicly, and people will never admit it. Like, and again, they would do this.
Warlords?
Yeah, by force, exactly. And also when people are afraid, that's whenever they want that person even. And I think that you saw that a lot of people really don't like the fact that Donald Trump is so flippant and outspoken about just like, remember whenever people were really mad when he said like, oh, like, what's the problem? Well, we're just going to bomb the shit out of him. And then like him talking shit about like how he killed somebody, posting like videos of somebody dying. Oh, he died like a dog. People tone policing him for that and saying this is like horrible psychopath behavior. But the moment that that psychopath behavior is directed on Iran, someone who, or a group that they feel like deserves it, now they're rooting for Trump and they're saying this is a good thing and people are feeling safe. So really in a lot of...
Exactly what I said happened. He pretended like he didn't say what he said and then pivoted to like 3 different points that didn't make any sense so that he could eventually farm yup in chat because no one knows what the fuck is happening. Like the infamous democratically elected warlords. Like literally half the shit that he's saying, it's just like none of it is making any sense. His chat is just waiting for him to say like, yeah, anyways, I like Trump. So they can be like, yeah, true. Exactly.
Of cases, there's a comfort that people have whenever they're criticizing people who are willing and even enthusiastic about being violent. But the moment that violence comes to their doorstep, they're crying for those people to come help them. And I think that this is another manifestation of that, is that they see a person who has a lot of very incendiary, in sometimes cases like violent rhetoric, but it doesn't matter because he's going to be violent to the people that you don't like. That's the reason why.
Denims is streaming.
I have to see the transcript for this. I'm sorry. I refuse to believe that that entire paragraph made any sense at all.
That's the reason why. He talks about issues that directly affect people, and people are willing to put the bullshit, weird views that he has behind them and vote for him anyway. It's the exact reason why people voted for Donald Trump. They might have thought Donald Trump is a psychopath, racist, maybe even a rapist, but this person still also wants to do something that's in my best interest. So you view yourself as aligned with him and you vote for him anyway. I would argue that I think that the majority of people, if you ask them, do you think Donald Trump has ever committed a felony? Most people that voted for Trump would say yes. But does that really change the reason why they're voting for him? No, absolutely not.
I like also that's factually untrue. There's only 1 million Jordan Klepper videos of him interviewing these MAGA morons. And when you ask them if you think that he committed a crime, they're like, he didn't commit a single crime. When back during like the insurrection, back during his impeachment, his other impeachment, when you talk to any of these people, they're like, well, no, he didn't do anything wrong. No. Nope.
People would vote for a murderer if they thought that that murderer was going to give them a better life. So this entire premise that you have to attack people on their character and you have to look at this, you have to look at like, what is the value proposition that these people have? No, they wouldn't. Of course they would. Absolutely they would. I mean, we've had people that have like, what are you talking about? It's not even a question. Absolutely.
The best part, by the way, is like literally in his chat right now. It's a bunch of people saying Trump is not a rapist.
What are you talking about? It's not even a
Trump isn't a rapist. Melania wouldn't be with him if he was.
Question. Absolutely they would. How do you think like all elections went for like probably many? How do you think chiefs were chosen in villages? How do you think warlords were decided?
How do you think warlords were decided? Because people like their value systems. Oh my God.
In ancient times? It's simple. It's simple. Every single time. Yeah, people comes first. Yeah, people's life comes first. They wouldn't admit it publicly, and people would never admit it. Like, and again, they would do this, yeah, by force, exactly. And also, when people are afraid, that's whenever they want that person. Even
what is they would do this by force? What does that even reference? Like they would vote by force. The warlords would take power by force. That doesn't line up with what he says later about people, or earlier people voting. Like none of this makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. He starts by saying if Mamdani was capable of letting go of his bad positions or his weird policies, he would get a lot of support. I mean, hell, even Donald Trump has a lot of like bad things about him that people would agree, like he's a rapist, a felon, whatever, but people still vote for him because they feel like their lives are made better by his policies. And then obviously a bunch of people in his chat are like, he's not a rapist. That's not true. People care about people's character. So then he like pivots into, well, no, this has always been how it is. How do you think elections were like? What do you mean? People have always voted for whatever policy impacts them. He explicitly says
they would. How do you think like all elections went for like probably many? How do you think chiefs were chosen in villages? How do you think warlords were decided in ancient times?
So he's saying the policy that you run on is the most important. The policy that you run on as the local warlord is the most important above everything else. It's more important than your character. And then later says people will never admit it. And again, they would do this by force. Yeah, exactly. Do what by force? Win over the general population with good policy by force? What? None of this makes sense. Literally none of it makes sense. And it's just like I'm waiting for it to make any sense at all. But he's actively trying his hardest to get his chat to be on the same side as he is, or like to get to their side. So he just keeps pivoting to like a new sentence and a new sentence and a new sentence, and none of these sentences make any sense together. It's just total word salad.
It's simple.
By the way,
it's simple.
I would have voted for Genghis Khan for a third term if I could. Best warlord in my lifetime, hands down.
Single time. Yeah, people comes first. Yeah, people's life comes first. They wouldn't admit it publicly, and people would never admit it. Like, and again, they would do this, yeah, by force, exactly. And also, when people are afraid, that's whenever they want that person, even. And
they're afraid of what? The person, the warlord, or are they afraid of like the bad things that could happen if a different person was elected? Like what?
I think that you saw that a lot of people really don't like the fact that Donald Trump is so flippant and outspoken about just like, remember whenever people were
sorry, really quickly, this chatter.
You just call everyone a don't you? And it makes sense. Like the fuck? I literally followed just as after past month of hearing entitled females call people and misleading.
Dude, why was that that was an XQC, dude. Judge clarifies, yes, Trump was found to have Jean Carroll. It's not me. You want to argue with a judge, you can argue with the judge. I'm not the one saying that he somebody. It's the judge in his case that found that he someone. What the hell are you talking about? Literally, what are you talking about? She laughs and literally can't comprehend shit. SMH, later sheep. Please explain to me the word salad that Asmongold just espoused. Please explain to me how these like multiple different points even remotely connect to each other. I would love to see you use your intellect to explain it. Please, please, by all means.
were really mad when he said like, oh, like what's the problem? Well, we're just gonna bomb the shit out of him. And then like him talking shit about like how he killed somebody, posting like videos of somebody dying. Oh, he died like a dog. People tone policing him for that and saying this is like horrible psychopath behavior. But the moment that psychopath behavior is
Then how come he became president, Denims? What? Because people just pretend like he didn't do that shit. They just pretend like he didn't commit any crimes because they want to vote for their guy.
Is directed on Iran, someone who, or a group that they feel like deserves it. Now they're rooting for Trump and they're saying this is a good thing and people are feeling safe. So really, in a lot of cases, there's a comfort that people have whenever they're criticizing people who are willing and even enthusiastic about being violent. But the moment that violence comes to their doorstep, they're crying for those people to come help them. And I think that this is another manifestation of that, is that they see a person who has a lot of very incendiary, you know, in sometimes cases like violent rhetoric, but it doesn't matter because he's going to be violent to the people that you don't like.
None of these, like literally none of these points make any sense into any of these other points. So he was charged. So if he was charged with, explain how he's not charged. Are you guys dumb? You can't comprehend he wasn't charged? If you get away with it, you didn't do it, you dumbass. That's literally the law. Oh, so like you genuinely think that O.J. Simpson didn't kill that woman. That's what you genuinely in your heart believe. That's what you believe? That if you get away with something, you didn't do it? Also, you're just wrong. Like, this is literally the case law, which apparently you've never read. He paid out millions of dollars. He paid out $2 million for sexual battery, 2.7 for defamation, and another $280,000 for defamation. Federal jury implicitly found that Trump deliberately and forcibly penetrated Ms. Carroll with his fingers in the 1990s. As a result, found him liable for sexually abusing her. Was also found him liable for defaming her in 2022 when he denied the allegations. So he went on to say, I didn't do that. And then she sued him again. And then she won another $3 million. He appealed it and the court denied it, finding the jury's verdict was not seriously erroneous or a miscarriage of justice. The reason he didn't go to prison for this was because it was a civil case. He literally paid her $5 million. He paid her $5 million, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you. If you think someone accuses you of this thing, there's enough evidence that you did this shit, and then you pay $5 million and you're still coping saying, well, you guys just call anyone. He wasn't charged. It's a civil case. You can't be charged in a civil case. Hello? Do you understand how the law works? You keep using this word, and I don't think you know what it means. There were no criminal charges. It was a civil case. No shit, it's civil. I can't, I don't, here you go, buddy. Here you go. You ready? All right. In November 2022, Carol filed her second suit against Trump, renewing her claim of defamation, adding a claim of battery, a New York law allowing sexual assault victims to file civil suits beyond expired statutes of limitations. Can you read? Like, I'm just asking genuinely, can you read? They can't read. They can't read. He didn't even know that it was a civil case. He didn't understand that you're not going to get criminal charges in a civil case. Guys, I would be so embarrassed to be Asmongold, and these are my chatters. They're unsavable. They're literally unsavable. Civil chargers. What's that emote where it's the little guy in the bottle, in the jar? I want to put these people in like jars for my personal entertainment. Be able to like pull them up and be like, okay, let me see. What stupid shit do you want to say today? Go ahead. You can have a case escalate and get criminal charges. Did you not read the part where it literally says expired statute of limitations will and that you can now pursue civil suits when there are expired statute of limitations? Do you know what statute of limitations are? Do you know what that is? Do you know any of these things? This is this is legal mindset on a burner account. Yeah, this one's really good. Okay, last one and then we'll move on. You obviously just Google shit because you obviously have never been in a court case, which obviously shows. I'm glad you used the word obviously 3 times, just to be obvious with it. But more importantly, okay, that's how learning about things on the internet works. You just Google them and read about them. I'm sorry you didn't know it was a civil case. I'm sorry you didn't know you can't get criminal charges in a civil case unless it specifically gets escalated, which it didn't. I'm sorry you didn't know he paid out $5 million. I'm sorry you don't bother to look into any of these things because you really want Daddy Trump to not be your, okay? But most importantly, I'm glad you've decided to tell all of us that you've been in a courtroom to try and get any custody of the kids. And unfortunately, the judge found that you were not suited. You were not suited to take care of the kids. And so she took everything from you. I'm glad that you admitted to that and told all of us that. Brave of you to let us all know and to confirm with us something we all already thought was true. Divorce court doesn't count. Oh, God. Look, more people who don't understand the difference between criminal and civil court. Jail is waiting for you. It's a civil case. It's a civil case. Please just look up what a civil case is. Please, please, for the love of God. They're moving in flocks, dude. The hordes. All right, enough of this.